For more tips and tricks, don't forget to hit that button and subscribe. Also, ring the bell so you can get notifications anytime I have new videos. Make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to give away 2 entire kits. That means you get an Easy Pro Texture gun, which is super cool. You're going to have 2 bags of orange peel texture and a mixer for paints. We're just about ready to texture. All I need to do is feather this out. Very light ridges around, and we need to feather it into my texture over here so everything will match. Now, you can do this a few different ways. You could hand sand it because you have just little bitty ridges. I bought this at Harbor Freight. I noticed they have them at Home Depot now online for $109. Different company, and I'll put the link in the description box. I don't deal with Depot and I don't deal with Harbor Freight, but I want to give you the information. $109, I don't think you could beat it because Home Depot, you could always bring it back if there's a problem. I would definitely get one of these if I were you, if you're going to be doing this more than once. If you're doing a ceiling, your popcorn ceilings, these will help. I would use 60 grit, which is this one, if I was doing a popcorn ceiling and trying to knock that down. And then I'd come back with 120. This is 120 so I can feather. All right, I do have videos showing how to scrape popcorn ceilings down. I use water when I do it, and that keeps the dust down because you don't want a lot of that dust anyway, but the vacuum really helps. My son's house had a really, somebody had painted it, before he bought the house, they painted it with a semi-gloss paint, the ceiling. Never do that. If you have popcorn, I never recommend doing that because it makes it 10 times harder to get that popcorn ceiling off if you need to take it off. So we did sand it with this, and it took a little while, even with 60 grit, to get it all the way smooth because you got to take that all the way down, and that semi-gloss paint is durable. It does not allow water to penetrate. That's why you can't just wet it like you would a regular popcorn ceiling with flat paint. For these inside parts, I'm just going to take my sponge and hit it because it's really not much at all. On your corner bead, you'll just clean it up with your blade. I'm sure some of you have seen this before, but I always use a little flashlight and I'll run it along the wall to see any little imperfections, and I can touch those up. If you have any imperfections in that wall, you will see it with the light. This is one thing you want to look for when you're blending into your texture. You want to see little spots of the wall. That means it's blending in well. And what you want to do is make this feather. Now, you won't be able to see that at all. When it transitions, it's going to transition just right. You can use a blade to shave this down close to the ends. Keep it almost flat, and you're just going to feather it right in. I'll wet it, and I'll feather it in, and then we can wipe it. You want to take and just put a slight angle on here and rub it, and it will cut and shave this back. You see how much comes off? Then you can rub it in, and it will make that texture start coming through and feather it. Okay, right here, I see a tiny, tiny ridge. All we want to do is feather that. Get rid of that ridge. We can put a little bit more right here, and I'll run it with my larger knife, and you'll see. Take the 12-inch blade, we'll put it, bring it into this a little bit. All right, then we'll get that 12-inch blade. Actually, I could have just used the 12-inch blade to begin with. Because it's going to feather it off more. Okay, we take that right there. Really light. And I'm putting more pressure on this side than this side, so it feathers. I got a piece of trash in there. See, if you pick up a piece of dust, you'll have a track. We'll take that track off real easily. That's it. I'm gonna do a couple of things around the house while this dries, and then we'll come back over and blow it. It's ready. All I have to do is lightly sponge some of the spots that I hit right here. Little really light spots. So they won't take long to dry. It's not like putting a full pass on everything. I hit little imperfections that I see. We're ready to spray. And I'm not gonna break out my hopper, which works excellent. If you needed to do this with a hopper, you can. But I'm gonna use my little Easy Pro Texture system. This little bag right here is reusable. That's why I love it. Similar to a can, you know, you can get the cans and spray this, and they work great. The problem is the can's not gonna last you. You spray it on this wall, and you do a little patch, you put it up, and a month later, you can't use it again. This will last you years. Now this is a larger area. It'll probably take most of this bag, maybe the whole bag. That's 10 bucks. I don't have to mix it. I don't have to do anything. What I'm talking about is I don't have to dilute it with water. When I'm doing mud, I have to dilute it, mix it up, whip it, get it to the right consistency. This is already done. All you have to do is hook it onto your gun. I'll set it at 60 PSI for this orange peel, and I'll match it. You can grab the bottom of the bag to make sure that you can feel it hitting the bottom. So if you have this sitting up after it's been open for a year or even 2 years, I've used them, you can feel it because it may cake up at the bottom. You make sure you whip it up at the bottom, and it's good. All right, so we'll take it out, hook it up to the gun. We'll do a little practice run on this wall right here, or this wall board, and we'll spray it. When I take this and set it, I want it to be at 60 PSI after it's flowing. You want it to flow 60 PSI. Don't set your compressor at 60 and then pull it, because then it's gonna go down to like 45 or 50, depending on your compressor. So we'll crank it up, probably to 70, 75. I'll hold this open. If it stays at 60, we're good. Now, I'm going to spray, pull the trigger. After I pull the trigger, I'll start squeezing. And we're just gonna do this on a sample board first, so you can see. I wanna make sure I get the right pattern to match my wall. This is very, very light. First, I'm just gonna pull the trigger. I don't even have to squeeze the bag. That right there is what I want. If I squeeze the bag, it's gonna go heavier. I don't really want it heavy. I want this light because I want it to blend in. That's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna squeeze the bag. When I have to, I'll start putting a little bit of pressure on it. I'm gonna start with the center, and then I'm gonna go to these sides, and we're gonna roll out to the whole outer skirts. Right? I'm not even gonna touch the bag. I'll let the compressor catch up a little bit, and we'll catch this, and then we're gonna start fanning out. But we're looking good. Once we get a little bit used on here, you'll have to start squeezing. You'll lightly squeeze. Looking good. Now we're gonna start going out here, and then we'll come down and catch the whole bottom. I gotta let it catch up a little bit, because if the air pressure drops too low, they'll start throwing bigger blobs. Let it catch up, and we'll go over a little bit more. Then we'll fan out a little bit more. It's looking good. You're not even gonna be able to tell. I'm about halfway through the bag. I got a little spot right here. Really easy to touch things up with this. Now to clean it, all I need is one little cap of water. This is a Coca-Cola cap. It's clean. If you close your eyes and you feel the smooth part of your wall that you didn't touch, and you come across, you'll start feeling the texture that you put on the wall. Two reasons. One, it's fresh. The other is, the other part of your wall may have been painted 10 times or 15 times, or it doesn't matter, even if it was 3 or 4 times. It's gonna be smoother because it had paint on it. So you want this to match. If you just sprayed this and painted it, you may see it. Even though I blended it out, you may see in certain areas where it was blown. So I use 1000 grit sandpaper. This will not take my texture off, but it's gonna knock off the sharp points. So what I'll do is I'll lightly rub it, and you won't even see dust come down. You're just taking the tips and you're smoothing them out. I'm going from smooth over and I'm blending it in. I want this to just transition right in to the other. To test yourself, close your eyes and feel it after you sanded it. If you feel any sharp points, hit them again a little bit. But if you don't, when you come back over and put your paint, it's gonna match really well. The next thing we need to do is hook up the outlet. This is super simple. This is the last outlet on the wall, or it doesn't feed anything else. If it fed another outlet, the next 2 screws would go to another outlet and the ground. So all I have to do is hook up the black to my brass line right here, or screw, and then the white wire will go right here to the silver screw. The green will go on the copper, the bare wire. That's it. And we're hooked up. If it was feeding another one, like I said, the other 2 wires would go to another outlet and you would tie into the ground. I don't like to get the ones where you have to bend it around the screw. I'd much rather have the ones that you can clamp. You put it in there and you clamp it. It is a lot faster, easier, and it's more secure. Do not do the push ones where you push them in and lock them. Those will loosen up over time. They go bad. This won't. So all I have to do is take my black one and you'll skim off about a little less than a ½ inch, and that's plenty. I'll put it in the black on the brass side, slip it in, and we will tighten it. Especially on a metal box, you want all these screws tight. Some people I've seen in boxes, they'll have these other screws all the way out. You never want that on a metal box because it can touch and it's going to short out. You want to make sure that you have these closed in if they're not being used. Close them in all the way. Get them secure. Last thing you want is that to move just a little bit. Hit this box, spark, and maybe cause a fire or short things out. Also, if you want, you can always put a piece of tape around it once it's done with a metal box. I don't like metal boxes in most cases. I'll use them for something like this, but in most cases, I want to use the plastic box. I talked about that earlier. Here goes the white. I'll shove it in there all the way. You don't want it extended past this back here. You want it right up to there. And you will tighten it up. Make sure you have it good and snug. I mean, don't over torque it, but you want it tight. Now, it's not going to back out. So the last one is my copper wire, which goes on the ground. That one we will bend. So I'll make sure it's clean because I want to have a good ground. You bend it, and you'll bend it toward the thread. And once I get it in all the way, I'll clamp it. And I'll tighten it down, and that's it. I didn't put a box in here, I just drilled a hole through my 2x4. So I'm gonna cut the back off of this with a little Dremel tool. And then I can just mount it right onto the 2x4 with the plate. So I'll have it enclosed, wrapping around the wires. I'm just using some wood screws, and they're gonna match the other screws. That's it. There you have it. Everything is neatly tucked away. I don't have to worry about all my wires cluttering up everything. When I push this TV back, it's gonna go all the way back to the wall with everything else. Nothing's gonna be pushing it out. This application can be put into play if you're adding an aquarium in your wall, or if you wanna put a fireplace in your wall, an electric fireplace. I don't care what you wanna put in your wall. This is an easy way to do it. And I just wanted to show you exactly how you can match everything. You could always trim this out with wood if you wanted to, but this is supposed to be hidden behind my TV, so no big deal. Now, if you want to win this kit, the gun, the bags, and the mixer, all you have to do is drop a comment. Check the video out at the very end of this. It's just a few seconds long to show you, or you can just drop a comment right now. That's okay. The only thing you'll need besides this kit is a compressor. Easy Pro Texture is fireman owned. I went out to California to check them out, to check out the company. Really great group of guys. They formed this company themselves. The guy's a fireman just like I am. He got his chief and his other crew. They all put in money to start this company. They work hard. And now it is in Home Depots all over the nation and in Sherwin-Williams. I love the product. Ever since I've tried it, I've been using it. So check it out at the end of the video. Make sure you drop a comment and check back in 5 days from the day of this post, because that's where your name, if you're a winner, will be in the description box just below the video. You go to that description box, you see your name, it says you're a winner. I'll have instructions how to get in touch with me so I can get the product to you. Check this out. This mixer is really cool. You can take this, put it in a bag, whip it all up, and it will not damage the bag, but it whips it up really well. You can also use this on a 1-gallon paint bucket, because it creates a vortex when it spins, so it doesn't have to touch the bottom of the bucket. You can drop it right down close to it, and it is gonna spread out and create a vortex. If I do a big job and I have a spot that I saw after everything's done, I come back, touch it up, and I'm out of the door in minutes. I'll see you guys on the next project. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment so you could be a winner. I'll see y'all later.